everybody, and welcome back to Live with Lidia. We have a brand new show for you guys, and some of these faces might look very familiar to you because these are all Houston local blogging boss babes. And I'm so excited to have you guys. I'm so thankful that we finally were able to put this together. These women are busy, you guys, and trying to work out with these schedules and trying to work out a day and time that actually worked with everybody and our kids and our lives and our jobs was a hassle, but it was so worth it. So worth it. So thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you for allowing me to sit down and chit chat with you guys. But let's go around, and I'm gonna let my guests introduce themselves, and they can tell you a little bit about who they are and what they do. Do you wanna start, Val?
Sure. I'm Valerie from Val Around Town. My blog is simple fashion, beauty, and lifestyle for the mom on the go. I'm a wife, a mom, and I'm literally around town all the time.
You are. She's everywhere. What about you, Ash?
I am Ashley Segura from New Mom in a New Era, and I do motherhood and lifestyle posts centered around the Latina woman, and I pretty much focus on anybody at any age.
You do. It's. I feel like you're very eclectic with your audience.
Yeah.
What about you, Nicole?
Yes. Well, I'm Nicole, and my blog is Lipstick Brunch, and I love to focus on curvy fashion, colorful fashion, beauty, and travel in my lifestyle in Houston. I am actually from Honduras, so I'm Hispanic, and I try to blend that into my content too, my Hispanic side.
I love that you do some of your stories and your interactions in Spanish.
Because some people are like, why didn't you say that in Spanish? Why don't you translate? I'm like, I'm gonna translate or I'm gonna get it. So.
But I love that we're all sitting here during Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes.
So I get to celebrate with you guys. I get to show you off to my viewers, and that way they can get to know you a little bit better. And I want to get to know you a little bit better as well. I have some burning questions from people that are not bloggers. I have some questions from people that are curious, and then I have some questions that are just us as women wondering how you do it all. Because I do follow all of you guys. I am very like stalker when it comes to your images, and I absolutely love what you guys portray. I love the vibe that you give, and I love how positive you all are. Being authentic, being someone that has to be in front of the camera all the time, realistically speaking, how difficult or easy is that for y'all? Feel free to jump in.
Do you mean like doing stories or just pictures?
Yeah, just anytime you're in front of the camera, does that feel real and natural to you?
I'd like to think I'm old school. Am I the oldest one here?
No, I think I am.
Well, I still, when Instagram stories is happening right now, or Snapchat, I still am very like, the idea of getting in front of the camera and talking to the camera is not like a thing for me. I rather do this.
Yeah.
Like I'm old school that way, or I rather call you, which apparently is now very weird if you call someone. But I'm like, I'm so good on the phone. I used to, when I was younger, I worked at a call center for a while. I'm like, I can be on the phone all day. But, you know, thanks to what I do in blogging, I feel like I've gotten better at getting on Instagram stories, and it's a little more natural for me. But it wasn't easy at the start.
Yeah, I still feel a little silly like pointing the camera at myself.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm talking to myself.
Yes. It's weird sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially around people that don't understand.
Yes.
They're like, what the hell is she doing?
Yes, you're so right. Do you struggle being in front of the camera?
For me, I say this a lot on my stories if anybody's watched, but I'm an extreme introvert. So all of this was a struggle for me, getting in front of the camera, all these pictures, always having to share things. Like in general, I'm old school as well, and I was a very private person, but I wanted to share my creative side, and so I've had to force myself to just be comfortable with it. And some days I do feel so silly. I'm like, hey guys, I'm here. It feels weird, but some people comment and say, oh my God, I love that you did this behind the scenes at this event. It was like I was really there. And when I get those comments, I'm like, okay, I really am sharing something, and I do try to make it a story so it doesn't sound so staged, but it was extremely hard, and it still is to this day for me.
It's so funny that you say you're an introvert, because I feel like I'm right on the edge of like, I tell my siblings I'm like super antisocial, and they're like, you're the most social one.
What?
I'm like, really?
Social.
Yes, I feel like I am. I like my house, like I like no makeup, but
I love it.
yes, so
Yeah, all day.
isn't that weird though? And we're like supposed to be out and about. What do you think?
But I mean, I'm gonna agree with something Valerie said. When you get the comments from your followers, like the feedback, then I mean, I don't want to say that gives me like what's the word? Validation. But I'm like, okay, this actually works. Like sharing this behind the scenes or telling you the story of where I am actually works. And I got that a lot. I've noticed like when I do travel Instagram stories, people are like, oh my God, keep sharing. I'm like,
Yes.
really? So I keep going, but.
I'm working on that. I love to travel. I think since 2015, I set a goal that I will go somewhere, like literally leave home once a month, every month. And I've actually kept up with that.
What?
Yeah,
Nice.
I kept up with that. So I struggle with sharing and oversharing and not knowing the balance between that, because one, I'm like, you want to share, you're like, oh my God, growing up with like nothing and growing up in the hood, and then now being able to, like, I went to Italy and I've been to Turks and Caicos, and I'm like, I want to share because not all the people in my circle or even my followers can experience that. But then I hold back, so I'm like, am I doing too much? Am I sharing too much? What would you tell someone that has those doubts, whether they're a blogger or not? Like, how do you feel about that?
First of all, I think it might be a Latina thing because we
were taught not to
we're
brag.
taught not to brag about, the things that we have and what we're doing, and so it's like kind of a hurdle that we have to overcome. Like, we can be proud of the things that we're doing. It's okay to be proud of what you're accomplishing and what you're doing, and to be able to share, with your followers, because that's, our job is to share what we're doing with everybody. And we all like kind of straddle the line of like oversharing and not sharing enough. And I think with me, it was weird because when at an event, I talked to a psychic, I think she was, and she told me, she read like some aura, and she was like, I can tell that you're an extroverted introvert, but when you like put yourself out there, you take days to like recover, because you put all your energy out there and you have to recharge your batteries. And that's what I do. I like, it's weird that I never thought of it that way, but I do, like, I close myself off because I put myself out there so much.
That's so crazy. I share that with you. I come home with migraines and I'm like, I had a blast, but now I need a week to recover. Like, I just want to be alone.
Maybe it's age too. Like, we're all getting older. Because now I need to sleep so much more. So
yeah, no, you're right with that. And then speaking of oversharing, do you guys ever detox? Like, do you ever do a like digital detox where you just disconnect?
Oh yes.
I've done it often. I think when I went through my pregnancy with my second baby, it was such a hard pregnancy for me that I completely I didn't have the energy to put myself out there, and I like completely disappeared until after I had my baby.
Yeah.
So.
What about you guys? Do you do digital detox, and how often?
I've taken a couple breaks. For me, I try to stay on, and even if it's just not me in front of the camera, I'll try to put some stuff out there. But I think it's important to take a break. If you need a break, especially being an introvert, or you're saying that you're putting yourself out there and you just need a break, it's important to take those breaks. And your followers and your audience will understand that they know they go through the same things. They need breaks from their life as well. It's social media is 24 hours a day. It's hard to be on something all the time. Just go. You're going to burn yourself out if you do that.
Yeah, a detox is good. Also because you can get like new ideas or get re-inspired. I need to get off the phone sometimes, which is so hard for me. If you ask my husband, it's horribly hard. I love my phone. Mm-hmm. But then when I do it, I come back and it's like I'm refreshed. Yeah. I have these new ideas. But yeah, I probably took the only really long break I took was probably my first pregnancy because my phone made me nauseous. So it wasn't voluntary. My phone made me nauseous.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know. Looking at the screen
Really?
made me so nauseous. My computer made me nauseous.
Crazy. Well, I did hear that when you're going through pregnancy and sometimes even after, your vision changes. Like I know my doctor saw me, I think right when I got pregnant, he said your yearly's gonna come out after you have the baby. We'll see if it's consistent. He's like, oh, you're lucky your vision didn't change.
Right.
Some women go from like having 20/20 to like needing glasses.
Right.
So, oh, you had to do that?
Yeah, like I could see fine before, but now I can't see. Like pretty much past youth, I didn't have my glasses on. Be able to see.
Wow.
Pregnancy will screw up a lot of things. Yeah, it will mess up a lot of things.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I tell some of my friends like, oh, I'm still, trying to lose the baby weight, and in my head I'm like, he's almost 5, but I'm still trying to lose the weight. Some of my friends are like, hey, my son's 13, I'm still trying to lose it.
Hey,
so give yourself a break, guys. Like the woman, like the body of a woman is just amazing, crazy, and powerful at the same time. So. Don't freak out. I had to give myself mentally a break, like, hey, you know what, it's not coming off, it's okay. Try different things, and that's where I'm at right now. So yeah.
Good for you, I mean.
But so speaking of the digital detox, do you guys ever, and this is a question I actually got because I asked around before coming. Okay. This is a question I actually got. Do you ever go have a trip, an adventure, a date, a beautiful moment and not share? And can you have that experience without feeling the need to share?
I have done it a lot, actually. I mean, I tell Jeff sometimes, my husband, like, let's just do this, and like, we don't have to take our phones, or like, because sometimes it's good, because I don't feel the need to share everything that I do. I like keeping some things private, because I don't share literally everything every day of my life. And there was a time that Jeff was doing daily vlogs that I was like, oh, can we, take a break, because this is rough. Like, this is,
It's like a reality show.
Yeah, like, I feel like, because when I'm at home, like, I look like a hot mess, like 100% of the time. I'm like, oh, it's either I share this and then people I think I look like crap all the time, or like I take the effort and I get ready all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't do that.
Yeah, because Jeff, her husband, is also a vlogger, and I actually follow him too. I love when he includes the babies.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that is
He does a
so
great job.
good. He did an Instagram takeover for me for Father's Day, a few Father's Days back, and it was definitely nice to see the perspective of a man doing this, because it's kind of rare. And then the ones that are vlogging, they don't call themselves vloggers, they just sharing. What about you, Val? Do you feel like you can take a moment and experience and not feel the need to share?
Most definitely. I think anyone who knows me personally knows that this is like 10% of everything that I do. I try to get on there and share fun things, but like I said, I'm a super private person, so my whole life is not on social media. So yes. I do things probably daily that I do not share. I try to get on there and keep my content
And
engage with my followers, but no, I definitely don't share everything, not even half of it.
Very cool.
I think that's a fantastic question, especially because we live in a time where we share everything. Our meal, how we're dressed, how we're washing our face in the morning, and I don't share everything. And there are times when I go on a date with my husband and it's like, we're not doing a picture, we're not doing pictures of the food or of us. It's definitely, like, I feel this freedom.
Yeah.
It's just like with what we do, I feel like work is just like inevitably with us all the time. I'm going to this nice restaurant, I should really take pictures of this. Or I dressed up for a date, like, you need to see my date night outfit or something like that. But it's so nice to take a break. Or I love going out with my family and my son, and we take him to a playground, and not sharing that is fun.
Yeah.
But that's a great question.
Speaking of son, and I know we all are moms.
Yes.
Have you ever felt fear or like any sort of doubt as far as like sharing our kids on social media? I've gone a little, not hate, but I've gone some like, you shouldn't do that comments, because whenever I first had my son, and I shared this publicly, I had a struggle with fertility. I mean, it took me 5 years before I was able to conceive him, and one failed pregnancy before him. So once I had him, I swear to you, I was like taking pictures every day. Like, I didn't share all of them, but I was like, I just want to remember this. I want to remember this. Like, everything was a first because I'm a first-time mom. And after a while, I got a couple people, even if I wasn't sharing on the blog, even if I was just sharing on my personal Facebook, I have people saying, like, you shouldn't do that. You're endangering him. And how do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like you put them in danger if you share them? Because I've seen your daughter and I've seen your girls and I've seen Nico, and I feel like I know him.
I think, I mean, we're all out there, right? Our sons are out there. They're also part of our jobs. We sometimes get campaigns because we have children, or it's something targeted to your child. So it's difficult. I'm going to say that as long as you don't take a picture of the school they're going to, or where you live, or you don't check in, like, that's something I do. Like, if I'm with my son and I post a photo, I'm not checking in at the Chick-fil-A where I'm at.
Right.
I mean, but I'll post pictures of my son and myself, because the blog is about my life, and my life is my son and my husband. So
if I do that with my son, I post delayed. Like,
right.
I'll enjoy the moment, and then I'll post either the same day later or just days later, and I'm in bed being lazy, you know, and I still have content. But how do you guys feel about that?
Recently, what I've been doing is I record everything on my phone and then I post afterwards, so that way not everything is live. But I mean, I get campaigns literally just for Mila, and when she does like the Walmart.
I was so proud of that.
Cute.
Like she's
so
literally
cute.
her working, and so
mature.
Her daughter has a campaign with Walmart, you guys. I mean,
She
can you
is so
say?
mature and cute. Like, I can't even.
Can you say little chingona? Like, oh my God, she is hustling on
and with stuff like that, like she worked, she did the work, I pay her, like that goes into her college fund, and I never make her do something that she doesn't want to do. Like, me and Jeff knew from the beginning, if Mila didn't want to take the picture, we weren't going to take the picture. We were just gonna, you know, whenever she feels like it, because it makes taking the pictures harder, and I don't want to force her to do anything she doesn't want to do. I have always grown up with phones, I guess.
Right, you're the youngest one, so it's true. That's been
I'm 24 years old, so I mean, me sharing, like, I have this false sense of security where, like, I don't feel like I'm in danger, and then I don't put my kids in danger. But I do make sure not to post, like, where I live. I don't post, like, where I'm at or where my kids go to school. And when I do geotag, I know where I just generally geotag Houston and not, you know,
not that specific. What about you, Val?
I agree with a lot of those. For me, like what Nicole said, I never check in when I'm actually there. There'll be times where there's events where they invite us both and they want me to post, you know, mom and me kind of photos there. I'll do that afterwards. But for her, she does like to get in front of the camera now. My daughter really loves it. She, you know, jokes about having her own YouTube channel, which we will probably never do.
Mila was asking for a YouTube channel too.
But I do try to take precaution and not check in, and not her school. I do post some stuff about it, but I won't ever post where I am, what school she goes to, that kind of thing. Just like any other mom, I think it's important in this day and age, no matter if you're in this industry or not, to take the precaution.
Everybody should take that precaution.
And
I see people checking in. I mean, that is dangerous. Like, don't check in at your kid's school.
Right. And I think I watched enough Dateline to get paranoid.
Enough Dateline, enough Lifetime movies, like
just the news nowadays.
the
It's
news.
crazy. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Let's move on to another subject that's not so scary. So coming from what you were doing before to now, at what point did you decide you want? Because you guys are all full-time bloggers, right?
Yes, but we were talking about that too. Well, we have news for you.
Oh, okay. Teach me, girl.
Yeah.
So, as a full-time blogger, at what point or at what time did you decide I'm gonna just do this full-time? Or are you doing it full-time? Because what it looks like, it's like you're all full-time bloggers. Do you also have a 9-to-5 somewhere? Or is this your only source of income?
So for me, I went from high school to the military to being a receptionist at an oil rig, and then Jeff was working at the oil rig as well. And then I got pregnant there, and after I had Mila, that's when I started my blog. And it was, I mean, Jeff was making good money, he didn't really have to go to work afterwards, and I was looking for an outlet to talk about postpartum depression. And so I went full time, but I was also, we had our own apartment, but then we moved and we were actually living with my mom, which is why, you know, we could do it full time. Both me and Jeff were doing it full time. So, and then we moved out and Jeff got a full-time job again. And I mean, I've always, I think I've been very fortunate in my blogging career to have always made really good money with it, but it doesn't, it's not, at least right now that Mila's going to school and we have to pay for it, it's not, we make the money, but it doesn't come every week like everybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it comes 30, 60, 90 days out, but our bills come
3 months later.
every month. So we're looking for something to, you know, fill in those gaps, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm actually good. I had an interview yesterday where now I'm going back into work full time.
Oh wow. Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know, as a mom of two, I'm like, oh, it took me like 3 years before I felt like confident enough to leave my son to go back to work.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, my phone. I need to see him,
Yes.
but I know it's hard, so kudos to you on that.
Well, I mean, thankfully it's a more remote position, so I get to work
Okay,
from
cool.
home.
Even
So,
better.
I mean, I love blogging. I make good money there, but it's just, it doesn't come
Consistently.
Yeah,
right.
I have always worked in an industry similar to blogging. I've always worked in photography, PR, 9-to-5s. I was a photography studio manager, and then I kind of fell into blogging when I didn't have an outlet where to share all my beauty knowledge, and I was working at a magazine. So the blog is something kind of that just started naturally because I wanted to share. And let me think. So I've been doing the blog, and I do the blog, and just like Ashley says, I've been fortunate that I've been able to make some income off of it. But when I got pregnant, that also slowed down. I wasn't doing a lot during my pregnancy because I was extremely nauseous and sick. Once my son was born, everything is still going great up to the point where he has to go to school right now, and I'm like, how much does school cost? I'm in the same position right now. I'm looking for a full-time job. I always say part-time blogger, full-time mom. I was a full-time mom to him for 2 years, and now it's time to go back in there. I have no idea what job I want to do right now, but I do know that I'm not gonna stop doing the blog because it's part of my life. I've been doing some sort of variation of the blog, I feel, ever since I was in high school. It's just evolved. It used to be in paper before, I used to do a newspaper, and it's just evolved
It's now
to a blog. It'll always be there, but the paychecks don't come in until a month after. If you're lucky, you get a brand that pays you that week. But now that my son is going to school, why is school so expensive for toddlers? I'm like, I need a job. Yeah.
I could definitely relate to that. My son is in preschool right now, so that weekly payment is deducted out of our account whether we get paid or not. So what about you, Val?
So I came from the corporate world. I studied fashion in college, and then, realized that in Texas and Houston I wasn't going to be able to work in that industry. And so I spent 10 years building my career in HR, and I got to the top, and then I decided to have a child. And I just couldn't. My husband's in sales, I was in HR and recruiting, which both of those positions, they require lots of after hours kind of work, and I just could not, we couldn't sustain that, both of us being gone. And so at the time, I had already started my blog, and so I was making a little bit of money doing that. My husband was like, just stay home with our child and do your blog as something fun for you. So it started like that, and I am fortunate too that I get steady campaigns, but it's it's the whole, oh, we haven't paid you. I mean, some campaigns take a long time, up to 8 months to pay in my personal experience.
But that's, I mean, that's like really bad from their part because they're not supposed to take.
Right, and I have 2 campaigns that I never was paid for. So it's.
Yeah, there have been campaigns where I took brands and I had to threaten like legal action because they didn't want to pay me.
My advice personally is to find ways to supplement your income because blogging in the beginning should be supplemental. You want to do the fun things, you want to share those things. Not everybody's going to pay for you to do that while you're building an audience. So I would say find ways to supplement. For myself, I also work part-time as a stylist, an online stylist. Also, there's different affiliate links that you can use to supplement.
Affiliate links are a good supplement.
These baby streams of income coming together to do all that. Your campaigns aren't going to be the one thing that does it. If you know, a lot of people pay places like bloggers to come and model for them, and they'll pay, fees for you to come model whatever it is because bloggers are comfortable in front of the camera. It's finding those little ways, doing these little things that you can supplement your income because it's not something steady. It goes up and down. Q4 is always our busiest time of the year, and if you want to work 30 campaigns, you could, but you would never be doing the brands the service that they need, and you could probably make that money out, but I wouldn't recommend it. You would go crazy.
Yeah.
And speaking of income, how do you establish who you want to work with, who you don't want to work with? And is there like an average that you guys expect from these campaigns?
Average payment? I'm really passionate about this topic because I come from a background in photography and I come from a background of being a manager at a photography studio. So I have to deal with brands a lot and pricing photos, and a lot of brands now want blogger photos and they want rights to the photos, and we want to use your photo for an ad, but can you just give it to us?
Yeah.
So I am really firm about it. I know people that give away their photos or give away their photos for a little fee, or, oh, I'm gonna be on the Old Navy Instagram. I won't do it if they just want me to give it to them. Do I expect a certain rate? I do, but I will say that with the saturation in the market of bloggers, sometimes I've had to have my prices go down because there is so much people willing to give a brand something for free or for really cheap, but never for free. Never, like if you can't even dish out $150 for a photo, it's like, it's not happening. And there's like this, I'm gonna give an example of a brand that never, like it's this huge brand that just never offers anything. And I'm still saying no, and I'm still sending them, what do you call them? Quotes. They're always like, oh, we wanna, we want this and we want this, and okay, so here's my quote. And there's brands that still won't pay up. So I always, regardless, send my quote, detail what they're going to get because brands want to know, okay, you're charging, what are we gonna get? But yeah, nothing is for free.
Yeah.
Even when you get a product and someone's like, oh, we got this for free. No, that's not free. They expect you to post something that's not free. That's a trade. You're doing a trade. So, I mean, that's a message for all the new bloggers out there. Your work is worth something, whether you just started blogging, whether you have 3,000 followers or 10,000 followers, you always have to charge.
Yeah, I can definitely agree to that.
100%, you're worth something.
Yeah, your time is precious regardless of what you're doing.
And I don't like it when I hear people say, oh, I only have 3,000 followers. You're still worth something.
Right, that's 3,000 more people.
That's 3,000 more people.
That product.
So because I have the background in working in photography and all of that, I also used to work in magazines as a photographer. Magazines have something called, and that's how they sell their advertising. Oh, we have a 30,000 circulation in the city. Well, think about the circulation you're having.
Yeah.
You're your own little magazine. You're your own little advertising empire, if I will. So if you have 3,000 or 10,000, that's like something like that 100% you can measure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Know your worth.
Yes,
For sure.
That's a good
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
literally, because
Yeah.
the worst thing for me is giving them a number and they say okay, and I'm like, oh, I could have added
Yeah.
$2,000 more on top of that,
Yeah.
because I literally hate that. But I mean, for me, like anytime anybody asks me a question, how much did you get paid for that? I don't mind telling them how much.
Yeah, me neither.
I really don't. And I've gotten DMs like, thank you so much. I finally was able to make my first $1,000 on a campaign, but I wouldn't have done it if I wouldn't have asked you how much. I'm like, literally, if you think of a number in your head, add like $1,000 more.
Right.
Because you could always negotiate. It's not like, oh, they're just gonna say no right after that.
And no, I was gonna say the worst thing they can say is no, we can't do that, but can we do this?
Yeah.
Well, you have to think about the time that it's going to take to all of that. A lot of people say, oh, it's just a picture, or it's just this. A picture takes time to set up. You got to get dressed. You got to, if you have children, find somebody to take care of them. You have to get, if it's a group shot, it has to be other people that you have to coordinate
You
with.
have to buy props sometimes.
Buy props. There's all these different things that go into it, all these different components. So if you do something for free, it's like you're actually paying them for you to put something on your blog.
Yeah.
Because time is money, and the props that you spend, you have to pay taxes on a lot of this stuff. So I mean, it's just you've got to think about what your time is worth and your work.
And something that people don't think about either is you gotta go and download the photo, go through those hundreds of photos, choose the one you're gonna edit, choose the one for Twitter, choose the one for Instagram, choose the one for the blog. Oh, that I mean, already there, it's like more than 2 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
So
If you take your time and divide it, are you at least paying yourself minimum wage?
right.
You know, of the length of time it took you to get ready, to get everything set up, to take the pictures, edit the pictures, to write all the captions, the blog posts.
I'm not saying when you start out you're going to be getting paid all this money, but at least put something out there and at least charge something for the work that you are doing.
Very true.
And share what you are charging with your peers, because sharing means that you're going to get information on what that brand is offering. I love to share how much I get paid for stuff. Like my friends are always texting me like, how much should I charge? This is what they asked me for. Because it becomes unified. There's a standard.
Right.
Then I mean, do it for selfish reasons if you have to. That way you'll guarantee that the brand is not going to be offering $100 and they're going to offer $300 now because you all agreed on $300.
Yeah.
So, I mean, at least think about it that way.
It's the Friends effect. Like when Friends got real popular and they all said, we will all make the same or we're not filming.
The Friends
Yes,
effect.
yes. I know.
So I'm gonna tell you of a time I went to a sponsored event and they all asked us to do the same thing. Now my numbers compared to everybody else, I felt like small potatoes. Everybody had like 50,000, 100,000. And so at the end of the night, everybody got together and asked how much each other was making. And I was surprised and I was afraid to say how much I was getting paid because everybody had said like $500, $1,000, and I was like, well, I asked for $2,000 and they only paid me $1,750. And all of these people that had higher numbers than me got paid way less because they didn't ask for it. And I was like, well, I mean, and then all of them were mad at me. I was like, well, you guys didn't ask.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, but you know what? I'm gonna just say that they probably didn't share information.
But they also, a lot of them said that they had given the higher number, but didn't hear back from the brand and were afraid to miss out.
Exactly.
FOMO. And they gave them a smaller number.
FOMO over dignity. No.
And I was like,
I'm so proud of you.
So they know
that.
Yes. Yes.
I'm never scared. Never, because I'd rather be at home with my kid.
Yeah.
So my photography teacher, who was my mentor, would always tell me, how much money is it gonna take for you to get off the couch? $100 doesn't motivate me for that certain job. Like you have to think what is going to motivate you to get off the couch.
So
I'm not gonna be with my son. I'm gonna miss spending some time with my husband.
Yeah.
What is that going to be worth?
Yeah.
If they don't want to pay it, it's fine.
And for me, at least, it's like, what bill is this gonna pay for?
Right.
Literally.
Yes, well.
That's all we would do is, you know, the blogging. And I was like, okay, this takes care of this bill.
Or you start thinking, I don't know if this happens to you, but you start thinking, okay, this is gonna pay this bill. Okay, this is gonna pay this bill. Like you at least have to be thinking about it.
I always share this, communicate and share, like help each other out. I love the idea of community over competition, because in reality you can find a community wherever you are. You can have a community of mom friends, you can have a community of girlfriends, you can have a community of housewives, you can have a community of bloggers. I've come to you multiple times with the most random questions, like something as simple as, Ashley, what should my title be on my Instagram? There's blogger, there's boutique, there's personality. I'm like, but I do it all. What should, I've asked you that multiple times because I doubt myself and I go back and I'm like, do I change it? I've asked you guys for photos, and if you guys remember when I launched my shop, Valerie and Ashley actually modeled my first merch that I launched in March, and to this day I'm like, I could never repay them, because just them taking the time to do this, me knowing there was no way in hell I could afford to pay you guys. I'm like, I will feed you, I would get you beautiful photos, you know, it was just a long shot, and I would not have had that opportunity to work with you guys had I not asked and just said, I honestly am just starting. This is what's gonna happen. Will you help? And I appreciate that you did. And I think more women need to do that. It doesn't have to be for modeling or for a photo or for whatever, but just ask the questions that you wanna ask, and to have someone reciprocate, or to have the time and take the time to just be like, this, and this, or don't do that. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, and I think more women need to be doing that. Because we all can talk the talk, but not all of us walk the walk. So I appreciate that you guys do that, and I appreciate that you say share, because it's definitely needed. It's definitely needed. But speaking of camaraderie and women empowerment, how do you guys deal with the haters? Do you have haters? Don't we all?
I was saying I don't have. I've had like one bad comment.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I answer.
I'm like, what are you even saying? There was one comment I got, they were like, why does she look like that? But they were talking about my baby.
Oh no.
And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, who are you talking about? And then all my aunts and stuff, they all commented.
They let them have it?
Oh,
They let her have it. But that was it, you know.
Yeah.
You said you didn't really have haters either, right?
No, I think I do. The way I have haters, I think people will post just ugly comments like, oh my gosh, that's such a cute outfit, but it would look way better if you were skinnier. And I was like,
excuse me?
so you just, I think over
I
time,
block those people.
yeah, you definitely
Just
block them, but I come from, you know, a recruiting background in the beginning of my HR career, and I was stopping people trying to get them hired on for jobs, and they'd be like, stop contact. So I feel like it's the same thing. You just develop a thick skin, and the people that want to say things, you just ignore them. You have to do that because you are putting yourself out there, and it's just a business where you are going to have haters, where people are going to say things. They're going to be talking, and if they're not, then.
But okay, but pause. You are not. What? You're so thin. You're beautiful. When I see you, it's like the epitome of like freaking. You're like high class fashion to me. You make everything look expensive, and I know it's not your mission, but.
It's a good thing.
That's a stupid comment. Anyways,
I don't let it bother me or affect me, but there are people that say things, and so, you know, I have one of the moms from my daughter's school who's starting a blog, and she's like, how do you deal with that? What's the worst thing somebody said to you? And I'm like, do you really want to know the list of things? You just have to get over it, and you have to be confident enough to say, you know what, that's not me.
Yeah.
That's not me, and I know that. So.
Working on that as we speak.
Yeah, I don't even.
You don't entertain them?
I don't. I mean, all I'm thinking is, you know, like, I either block them, just because, like, just like in real life, I just
Block them.
I mean, I want to surround myself, like, with people who want to follow me because they like me, but if you're creeping on me because you love to hate, then block.
Do you all block? Are you blockers?
I'm a 100% blocker of creepers, haters.
I haven't gone there yet. I was just telling you guys that I've gone 2 mean comments, and they were both about my weight and my body. Yeah. And then I'm like, this is best I have ever felt here.
Right.
Yes.
Which I feel shows here.
Right.
So I'm, you know, going through therapy and all that stuff, and I feel like it's helping me find like what matters here and here.
Right.
And one of them was about me wearing a crop top. and one of them was about me wearing a bathing suit. And the bathing suit was a two-piece. For the first time ever in my life, I wore a two-piece. And it was thanks to these two. Because you posted a picture by the pool with your girls, and you had just had your baby. And you posted one as well, and it was even before you started your weight loss journey. And I was like, I contacted them both, and I was like, you look freaking amazing, you're inspiring me. And then when I wore my bathing suit, I, shouted them both out, and then I posted mine. And I felt like it gave me courage, like they can do it, I can do it.
That's what social media is for.
That's the point.
You're on there being mean, block.
Yeah, you just have to block them. And for me, one of the reasons I did start this is because before I had my daughter, I was very, very thin, and I could walk into the Gap, pick my size, and walk out without trying it on. I knew it fit. Yeah. Now it's harder to kind of work with my body as it's changed. I kind of appreciate those moments where people say that, because I'm like, you know what? I don't care.
And that's powerful.
There's something that I always hear, and they always say at this conference we've been to with Ashley called We All Grow in LA. We go, I've been every year. But there's something they say that always stays with me, like when you do something, you give permission to someone else to do it. You feel, you know what? She can do it, I can do it. Yes. With anything, like, she's wearing that dress. She kind of looks like me. Like it gives you permission to do it.
It's so true. Just know that all of y'all have impacted me on another level. I know I met you through Alicia. We modeled for her, remember? When she was doing the rebranding at the Thinking Boutique. Shout out to Alicia. I met you through your Fab Latinos. And then I met you through Izzy.
Yes!
And they are all very, very different, but it's so beautiful to be able to reach out to someone. I don't feel like I'm at the level you guys are as far as like the monetizing and all that. I feel like I'm still a young buck when it comes to that. I've been vlogging with Izzy for years, House of Badass Rose. We had to separate because, of course, she moved to California. But that got me kind of like the experience of getting my feet wet. And then it gave me the courage to do this on my own now and to sit in front of a camera and to be able to do this. And this would not have happened if I didn't see my peers doing it. So again, I repeat, community over competition is so important, you guys. Reach out, share, support each other. I posted a meme recently where it says this literally costs you $0 to support your friends, to support their businesses, and to support their dreams. A share, a like, a follow. They're not as important, as the community, but they do affect the engagement, sharing, for example, a campaign of yours costs me no money. Like I can share a campaign and be like, hey girls, look what Valerie's doing, look what Lipstick Brunch is doing. It costs me nothing, but it gives me joy to know like these women are out there, they're hustling, they're all Latinas, they're all moms, and they can make it. And I feel like if more women, more people did that, the community would be so much stronger versus feeling sometimes like the haters in the background, the questions being asked. It's not all that serious. Some of us just want to have fun and reach out to you, and hopefully it'll make a difference. For those people that just assume and like to say, blogging is easy, you just take a photo and get some likes. What do you have to say about that? What does your day-to-day consist of when you're working on a campaign? Is it really just taking a photo and it's so easy? The laughter.
I literally wish it was that.
Yeah, for sure. We make it look that way, and that's probably the art of
That's
blogging.
a good thing. Yeah.
But it's definitely a full-time job. You have to dedicate a lot of time to it. You are your own boss. You have to do all the operations. Just did my taxes today.
Yeah, we were just talking about
it. It just takes a lot of work. You will be working overtime, after hours, editing photos, learning new software, learning to work on the blogger platforms if you've never used them before. So there's just a lot that goes into it that people don't understand until they actually do it.
Yeah, when I started out, I didn't have the money to pay a web designer, a photographer, an editor, I learned all those things on my own. So literally YouTube was my best friend. I used that for everything, and that's where I learned how to code, I learned how to take the pictures, and learned how to use my camera in manual mode. I learned Lightroom. So and then when you do take the pictures or do the campaigns, you have to figure out if my kids are not in this picture, who's gonna watch them?
Right. I was just about to say that. Like,
and when Mila was little, I mean, she would sleep all the time, so we would just have her in a stroller right there next to
It was easier.
Yeah, but now we have two, and then plus sometimes I have my brother Noah with us, and it's a mess, you know.
I don't think it's definitely as easy as people claim to be.
No.
I know, for myself, whenever I've had like, oh, I need content, and now I'm trying to do that like aesthetically pleasing, where it's like right now I'm posting pinks and right now I'm posting reds, and I've had even like some of my close friends and family like, do you really need to take a photo right now? I'm like, I either take it right now or I freaking struggle later and do it myself. Just take my damn photo. Just cheese and take the photo and let me be. I do get a little bit of the pushback, but I have to say my husband has actually turned out to be an amazing Instagram husband, where now he's learning my angles and everything. I'm like, yes, honey.
wow.
And that's like, if you don't have somebody who's supportive of what you do, then you do have to go and find somebody else to do all those things. Because I mean, your tripod can only go so far.
True.
But there are people that are making tripod pictures work. But
Yeah.
for me, I know like I need higher angles, so I need a person.
I'm like, angles, honey, angles.
Also,
I don't know. Go ahead.
it also comes back down to building a community, building people that kind of work in the same industry and they understand this. Like, we spent a weekend, or this weekend with bloggers, and it was like everywhere we went, we're like, okay, photo shoot. And then there were times we didn't do anything, but I got so much content in a short amount of time because I was with people who also needed content, and we kind of just helped each other get that in a short amount of time. So.
That's beautiful.
I wanted to talk about the misconceptions.
Yes.
So I agree with everything they said, like to a T. I also think that I think people think that we just accept all the free product that is offered to us, like everything. Even like when I'm with my mom and she's like, "Oh, why did you say no?" And I'm like, "Oh, because it just doesn't really fit my brand." So as a blogger, you have to be very, and it's difficult because it's fun to get free stuff, but you have to be really, like, you're a business. Like, how much stuff do you really want to take in and maybe not use, or you just want to give it away? So no, we just don't take everything that is offered to us. I think another misconception is thinking that, this one's for bloggers. Like, sometimes I see bloggers saying that they bought like a really expensive camera. They're like, "Oh, I'm not gonna have a photographer anymore because I got a camera." So sometimes getting a camera doesn't equate amazing pictures. You need to have someone behind the camera that actually knows how to use it. So if you're gonna invest in a camera, make sure you go on YouTube. There's so many tutorials on YouTube to use your camera. Because I've actually seen people have the big camera and not know how to use it, and it's a lot of money.
It is.
It's so much money. It took me almost 10 years to buy myself a new camera.
Yeah.
So that I could get what I wanted. I had a used camera before that I used to keep teaching myself.
Yeah.
So get something used first, later invest in something like more sophisticated.
We found our Canon 5D3 at the pawn shop for like $1,500.
No way!
Yeah, we did it in payments.
Wow!
Literally,
Go to the pawn shop.
Go to the pawn shop.
So
And when a new camera comes out, go to the pawn shop because everybody's always pawning it.
No, I'm so lucky to have my sister behind the camera. She never gets to shine. She never wants to come on camera, and she's looking at me right now. But she dabbles in photography. She's amazing. She does my videography, so I'm like, I don't mind investing.
That's awesome.
But I myself, when you said you taught yourself how to use it in the manual mode, I still, for the life of me, cannot. I'm like, I'm great with my iPhone though.
But once you use it on your camera, it's magical.
It really is. It really is. I have another misconception before we wrap it up. One misconception, I've had friends tell me, every time you go eat somewhere and I post, like, you know, I'm not a big foodie, but I do appreciate, you know, a good meal. Every time you post, are they giving you stuff for free? They assume that we just eat everywhere for free.
No.
It's like, guys, come on, no. No, we pay for our food just as well as you do, and we tip our waiters just as you do. So that was something that was asked of me too.
I have another one. When we post on Instagram, sometimes we post something that we shot a week ago, a month ago,
yes.
and they're like, wait, weren't you just wearing this on Instagram? Why are you doing this on your stories? Like, why are you a mess? And I'm like, no, I took that picture like weeks ago.
Yeah.
We create content just like, you know, we make it a work day to take a lot of outfits and we post them later.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to do it every day.
Anytime I actually get the chance to wash my hair and do my makeup, I'm like, Josie, I can't take pictures.
Yes.
Or my husband.
Like today, I'm gonna do like 1,000 things because I got my makeup on.
And
so.
you all look cute. You all brought it. But yes, thank you guys so much again for coming. And I want to give you this opportunity to shamelessly plug yourself. Let everybody know where they can find you, where they can follow you. And that way I can throw them over your way.
Okay, so thank you so much for having us. This was fun. You can go to my website, www.lipstickandbrunch.com. So much good stuff there. Travel, beauty, fashion, and I'm also a lot on Instagram, which is my favorite platform, at lipstickandbrunch.com. Really fun stuff. Come on over.
Super vibrant, colorful, and you'll get to see baby Nico, who's adorable.
So cute. You can find me everywhere at New Mom in a New Era, online, newmominaneera.com. If you want, you can click the link in my bio and go and find Mila's top Walmart toy picks.
We have to support Mila now. She's
Yes.
the youngest blogger I know.
Youngest blog. She's your next interviewee.
Yes.
You can find me at valaroundtown.com and Val Around Town on every platform except for Instagram, which it's the Val Around Town.
Go give them some love, guys. And as always, if you appreciate this conversation, let us know your comments down below. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe so that you don't miss any episodes. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.